Hello people, 23rd of June, Sunday, 2019. So there you go. So a bit of an experimental video today, and what I'm going to be doing, hopefully, is some video editing. Now, I've got this new mobile phone here, which I'm absolutely loving using. It's got more memory than the last one, so my videos hopefully won't just be cutting out abruptly like they were before. And I've downloaded a free app, Hoverfly. Video editing software. I can't remember the name of it now, and if the video, if it goes all right, I'll find out what it is and say what it is in the next video. So I'm going to be doing some shots today and talking about some things that I've got going on, some plans, things I want to sort of enact around here. And I had a good tidy up yesterday, so I got like a clean slate to sort of like start thinking about things, because you know what it's like when you're sort of in a bit of a mess. You sometimes can't think of ideas, and one of the worst things in that situation you can do is to start getting an added to it. So I've got a nice clean slate now, and hopefully a bit of video editing to go with it. So let's have a look around, we'll have a chat. And you can let me know at the end, if you wish, what you feel about my video editing efforts, which probably will be a little bit amateurish to begin with, but and indeed may even stay that way. But I just want to have a go at editing, okay? And I'm hoping now that I've found a simple thing that I can do it with. Right, okay, so let's have a look. So these squash plants, now, they're getting quite big now, and I've moved them here into the vegetable patch in the pot still, because part of the experiment, growing them in the Miracle Grow compost, and they're looking absolutely fantastic. Now this is Victor winter squash, I believe, and you can see just how big the plant is getting now. I mean, if I put my hand there, look, you can see just how big the leaves are. So I'm expecting them to sort of go all over the show here, which they can do. They're welcome to get as big as they want here, no problem at all. So that's that one. I've got Volskaya Blue. I think we're going to be having a flower there soon. So quite happy about how they are sort of going in those regards. And I've got another one here, look. This is looking pretty decent as well. Once again, nice big leaves. Oh, this one is Victor winter squash, so that other one must be something else. Never mind. And this is Benning's green tint. Okay, so quite good sized plants. The leaves are looking very healthy, and this Miracle Grow compost is very highly rated apparently, and I'm trialing it. For people that, or for myself as well, but for people that want to have a go at sort of container growing because they don't have a garden or whatever. So far, this purchase of this Miracle Grow compost is really doing these vines, some good here. So I'm quite, so far I'm giving the Miracle Grow enriched compost 10 out of 10. Right, so what I'm going to do is knock this clip off now, and then apparently I can edit. Oh, look, I can apparently edit it later on. So here goes. Right, okay, so I've got the potatoes now, variety Desire, however you want to say it, red ones. Okay, so these are growing in containers, and they're putting out some beautiful flowers now. So generally the potato crop is ready when the plant has finished flowering, so probably looking at another month or so, 6 weeks. Helped very much by the rain that we've been getting quite a bit of rain of late, so very grateful for that. But they're looking lovely, and also the flowers are actually quite ornamental, aren't they? I mean, look at them, look, they look nice, don't they, the flowers actually, and quite a lot of them. So all being well, a good potato crop there. I will be doing a potato reveal of the buckets when I tip them out. What I'm probably going to do is leave them in the buckets for a while and tip them out when yes, seagull. What I'm probably going to do is tip them out later in the year, but they can stay in there, they'll keep. So yeah, so the old spinach and chard is looking absolutely lovely there. So that's chard, giant chard, Ford Hook giant chard, I think the variety was. I may be wrong, don't quote me on that. And here, like these ones, this is spinach. So yeah, that came from the real seed company, the seeds did. And yeah, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to knock the old camera off again now. Right, here we go. Now the old kale, getting bigger sort of day by day really. But I'm actually going to start picking this now. So that's looking pretty good indeed there. A bit of weeding to do as well. I did weed this bed yesterday, or at least a lot of it, because it was starting to look a little bit, even for my sort of relatively, you know, chilled out standards regarding weeds, I you know, did have a good sort of bash at it. Now going back down to here, your cucumber plants are starting to, there you go, starting to put out some nice little flowers, and these are variety Marketmore. Okay, Marketmore, and I do rate the variety Marketmore for cucumbers very highly. They're sort of small cucumbers like that, more or less gherkin size really, but they can get bigger, but they're just a lovely tasting and very straightforward to grow cucumber. You don't need to do, you know, sort of like pinching out or whatever. They're outdoor, they're the prickly ones, and you simply just leave them, and you know, they romp all over the show like squashes, and you get lovely crops. So Marketmore, can't recommend them enough. Okay, so here we go. Right, here we go. So we've got broad beans, and there, look, got a little collection of broad beans there. Some broad beans down there as well, and some broad beans there. Now these are small plants, variety the Sutton, I believe. I've grown these before, they're done well, and I'm going to be slowly working on the sort of, how would one describe it, the quality of the soil in this raised bed here, because you know, it's a relatively new sort of raised bed. I only made it a couple of years ago, and in regards to sort of building soil fertility, this takes time. I've got some compost excuse me, you know, cooking away, and that's going to go on here eventually. End of the year I'm going to get some manure on here and slowly work on it, but you know, it's a slow process, and you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, so you don't just you know, you don't just build soil in a day. And the Taberries, well, I mean, once again, you know, I truly cannot recommend these enough. I would even go as far to say, if you are only going to grow one fruit in your garden, for straightforwardness, tastiness, beauty, low maintenance, I would even go as far to say this may be the crop for you. I mean, you can't really say what is the best fruit. That's like asking someone what is their best music. You know, depends on what mood you're in. You know, some days you want chips, another day you want kale. Doesn't work like that. But you know, these are really good, and what they do is they fruit on last year's wood, last year's growth. Yeah. So if you see this here, this is this year's growth, which is grown during this growing season. So what will happen is next year that will look like that, loaded with fruit. So what you do, so the fruit has grown on last year's growth, yeah. So at the end of this season I will cut off last year's growth, and the fruit next year will come on these that have grown this year. You get it? Now they have got prickles, okay, so if you've got you know, people that are averse to prickles, then they may not be for you. But cross between a raspberry and a blackberry, and you can just see how much fruit is coming, and you know, they fruit over a sustained period of about 6 weeks, so they give you fruit for a long time. I mean, if I had 5 or 6 of these, I've got 2, one here, one somewhere else, but blimey, and you can propagate them as well. Like this one here, look, is self-propagated. I've got a video how to propagate Taberries. Type that in if you're interested. It works for Taberries, Loganberries and Blackberries as well. Like you see, so it's self-propagated down there. So I can dig this one up and have another plant. So truly, you know, if you really want to get into backyard fruit growing, things like that, in my opinion, this is a must really. And they start cropping early in the season. There you go. You got my recommendation. I think you've worked that one out. I think we'll have some time for some flowers. Now, the Clematis Montana. Now, what I've done is cut it down to about here, okay? So that's about 1, 2, 3 foot from the ground, 3.5 feet. This is what I like to do with them after they've finished flowering. You're not going to get any more flowers this year. So I cut them down. They will grow a bit more, but then next year, you know, it will proceed to just grow again. Now I've got one here and one here. This is one I've had for, I can't remember which one, but they're slightly different leaves. Now I know that one is Montana, and I don't know what the other one is. It just said Spring Clematis. I got it from Aldi. Probably this one, I would imagine. But one flowered before the other, so I'm wondering if they're slightly different varieties or whether they just brought one on, you know, earlier or not. But I don't know, because I had one here for a while ago. I've got a video how to grow clematis in pots if you're interested. But yeah, so it's a bit of a story behind those. Now these look absolutely beautiful, don't they? Look at them. And the wallflower, well, no, great plant, long flowering. Showed a video about this when I first got it a few weeks ago. Absolutely brilliant. Now here, these are my geraniums that I grew from seed myself. So variety Moulin Rouge, okay, and I started these off, when did I start them off? Last September, I think, October. And you know, it's a good thing to do if you want to get your sort of flowers a little bit earlier. But yeah, so quite happy in those regards. And here as well, this looks beautiful, doesn't it? Lovely flowers there, look. Cut it back at the start of the year and it's come back like this, gorgeous, lovely and beautiful. And now this rose, I dug this up for someone. They didn't want it, they were going to throw it away. I said, well, can I have it? Yep, fine. So there you go. Now I don't think it's one that gives you a constant supply of blooms. I deadheaded it yesterday, as you can see sort of here, but end of the day, you know, it was given to me and I'm very sort of grateful for it. We're starting to get a bit of black spot there, but you know, yeah, great, it's beautiful. Okay, let's have a little section on grapes, because you peeps know how much I love growing grapes. Now there you go, we're getting little, well, we've got bunches of grapes and you know, I've got quite a few of them. These will be ready probably September or October time, but I'm very happy. Look down there, and another bunch there. So this is once again, whoop, just knocked a few off there. This is once again a container grown grape, okay, so you can grow grapes in containers, but I've explained this before. Ideally, if you can, you want them in wooden pots, okay. This is a plastic pot. I was given a load of these years ago, so I've just kept them and used them for, you know, gardening projects. And they're also good for, you know, loading up with horse manure and stuff, you know, so you don't, it doesn't leak everywhere. You get the idea. But yeah, so grown in this tub. But if you can get wooden ones, that's better, because they like their roots kept a little bit on the cool side. They like the above bit warmer, hence the south facing wall here, or fence or whatever. But yeah, you can grow grapes in containers. Okay, so this vine here, spoke about this sort of mite that goes in these leaves here. It's not a problem, you know, it doesn't affect the health of the vine or the corresponding crop, but yeah, if you see that, don't worry too much about it. But obviously it's just more of a cosmetic issue, but putting out a lot of growth, and next year this will be absolutely loaded with fruit. Right, pears, we're looking good. Variety Concord, yep, looking pretty beautiful there. So we're quite happy really with how this is coming on. They should get a decent size, all being well. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Quite a few, look. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You know, about 19 fruits off of a relatively small tree. I mean, you can see the size of the tree, look. It's not exactly big, is it? But it's beautiful. I love it. Okay, so this is a section that I'm finding very interesting at the moment. So south facing, and you can see I've got the 3 blueberry plants there, 1, 2, 3, in the ericaceous compost with the ericaceous feed as well. And I'm watering them every day and they're carrying decent crops. We'll go over there in a moment, but I want to set along here, probably along this bit, some sort of heritage apple variety in pots, which I'm going to be purchasing during the winter months. I want to continue sort of heritage varieties of apples, so that's very sort of little project I want to do. But you can just see, you know, the lovely crop that these blueberry plants are carrying, and they're starting to ripen now, like that, look. So it won't be long, and I'm quite happy really with them. So considering how small the plants are, and they should, now that I'm actually treating them properly, they should, you know, get better year on year. We've got to have a section on gooseberries, haven't we? Now, these are looking very good, and look at that, look. I mean, look at all that lovely, lovely crop, okay? Now, you can propagate these yourself, okay? I do have a video on how to take a gooseberry cutting, but one thing you can do with these is you can get a bit of like last year's growth, and you can push it down like that into the ground, and you could put like a camping peg or a stone if it's heavy enough, or a brick, and it should proceed to make roots. But I like to propagate them from sort of cuttings, really. But yeah, very much possible to propagate your own gooseberries. So, you know, if you can find someone who's prepared to let you do that with a gooseberry bush, or take a cutting, you can obtain plants for free, and it's very satisfying when one does this. So what else? Yeah, so it's not going to be long now before these are ready. Maybe even within the next sort of 3 weeks or so. And we've got lovely gooseberries here. Once again, you know, if you were only going to be able to grow, you know, just very few, you know, not plants, so to speak, fruit plants at home, gooseberries would be one of the ones I would truly recommend, because they're relatively low maintenance, they give great yields, and they're adapted very well to the UK climate, and they taste great. So basically, you know, gooseberries are, again, one of my sort of recommendations. Of course, you know, you've got to be able to deal with the thorns, but there is a variety called Kale, okay, which my understanding of this variety is it doesn't have spines, so you won't sort of stab yourself as you pick them. But yeah, gooseberries are great. I think this variety was Hinnon-Mackie. No, it wasn't. This variety is Invicta, which is like a traditional variety, and these are Hinnon-Mackie Green, I believe, and this one is Hinnon-Mackie Red. Yeah, so lovely. A very small crop of black currants, but they'll get better, you know, year on year. Well, I mean, these are ready, or getting ready. Once again, you know, oh, that's sweet. I mean, these are very sort of young plants, and I forget the variety now, but I've got the I've got a video of when I first purchased these, the plant, but they're doing really well, and you know, they just keep putting up suckers from the ground, which one can then take. Lovely. So I end up with loads of these eventually from one sort of initial purchase of a raspberry plant. Yep, more to come. Okay, so we're going to have a little mention about cherries. Now, this is variety Stella, and Stella, if I'm not mistaken, was the first self-fertile variety of cherry to be introduced to the UK. I believe it's a Canadian variety, and, you know, very, very important regarding cherries, that is, because before this, you needed to have sort of two cherry trees, like, to cross-pollinate, but these will produce fruit. Yeah, these will produce fruit on their own pollen. Of course, they will benefit from a pollination partner, meaning a plant that will, another cherry tree that flowers at the same time. But again, you know, this is also a dwarfing cherry on a minaret rootstock, which means it shouldn't get big. I mean, it's about 6 or 7 years old now. It's been in two different locations before here. If this tree could tell a story, but I actually, you know, I really enjoy this tree, and it's looking beautiful, really. I mean, look at it. It's going to be lovely when it's sort of shouldn't get much, it will thicken out, but it shouldn't get huge, nor do I want it to. But, you know, considering it's its first year in this new site, you know, it's carrying a decent crop, and I've not bothered covering it up from the birds. You know, I've let the birds have, you know, what they've wanted this year. You know, I don't want to be sort of greedy. There we go. Okay, my little run of beans section here, or one of them anyway. Now these could be suffering from a nitrogen deficiency, hence the sort of leaves are a pale colour, but I'm probably going to get some sort of natural feed for them or something like that. But yes, so I grew them in just some old compost that I had kicking about, okay? So it's been used before and wasn't 100% sure what to do with it, so hey, why not grow a run of beans in it? But you know, going to be carrying at least a degree of a crop, and once again it's from these sort of, yeah, quite happy really, to be honest. Now as we go into the polytunnel here, which I've got no doubt is going to be really, really warm. Yep, things are coming on as one would sort of expect them to come along in here. You know, my snake beans shouldn't be too long now before they're ready, and it's not going to be long before the peaches there. But you've seen all these before, okay, so I'm not going to bore you too much with that. But oranges as well and everything, so it's all looking, you know, and this is just growing by the day. This is, look at that, look, that vine, it comes all the way up there, look. I mean, this is what I want it to do. I want it to be a, you know, a really successful, beautiful vine. Sorry, it's growing all the way up here, look. And the old muscat block one I took from a cutting as well, and my other vines, remember these, my new ones, that they're starting to sort of come on now, and the tomatoes, yeah. So yeah, I'm feeling very positive about it actually. You know, coffee and tea plants and all that jazz, but you've seen that before, so I won't go into it. So what I'm trying to do is to create like a little system here now. So I've got this more or less nearly everything I'm going to be growing obviously for this summer. I've got some ideas of some winter crops I'm going to be growing. I'm going to be getting hopefully some purchases of rare carrot seeds, okay, rare heritage carrots. That's one thing I want to sort of very much sort of get into, and just slowly sort of improve my repertoire, and you know, just a bit of a demonstration to people and to myself as well, what can be grown in a relatively small garden. That's what the sort of purpose is kind of really at the moment, and of course to grow food to eat, you know, that's obviously the ultimate purpose. But yeah, so what I'm going to be doing also in the winter, and we'll go out there and have a look, shall we? Right, so this little section here where the runner beans are, and maybe along the fence here, I'm planning on making like a little sort of hothouse, if you will, out of straw bales, things like that. Maybe some manure in some containers that generates heat as it sort of cooks, if you will, throughout the sort of the time it's there, to create some warmth. Maybe use some perspex as well and things like that, you know, about you know, letting in as much light as possible and heat during the winter months, so I can continue the sort of growing season. But that's just a general idea. What do you peeps think about that? But I'm quite looking forward to that, I must say. Yeah, so there we go. So and that's it. So I'm going to now go inside and have a bit of a sort of jam, if you will, with the old video editing software and just see what I can produce. I want to get into producing videos more. You know, I've avoided it for a long time, but the time has come, and hopefully this simple program enables a simply minded technical bloke, to have a, you know, have a bash. So enjoy your Sunday, peeps. Hope you enjoy the video. If there's anything you'd like to see me do, you know, or whatever, just comment down below. I can't say I'll do it immediately, but you know, I'm open to ideas, okay? So if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and await the huge grape crops later in the year. Have a good Sunday.